Here's a very, very hearty good afternoon to everybody. Could I request others to mute, please? Yeah. So on behalf of the Corporate Laws Committee of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, take great pleasure in extending a very warm and a very hearty welcome to all of you to this MCA version 3 virtual meeting series that we are enabling for the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Also take this opportunity to extend a very, very warm welcome to a very committed officer from the MCA, Mr. B. Srikumar, who's been participating in all these webinars from day one. And also welcome Mr. Rohit Bhatt and his team from L&T Infotech, which are supporting this MCA version 3 project. As we are all aware, the version 3 has been launched for LLPs and companies will follow in future. So these webinars are primarily intended to guide us on the LLP forms, which have been launched. We already did registration and login into V3 in the earlier session. The session before that, we had a broad overview of what version 3 was all about. So in this edition of the webinar, we're going to talk about run LLP forms. And if you have any questions on Philip, kindly fill them in. I'm given to understand that more than about 1,000 run LLP forms have been successfully filed, which is a very strong indication that the portal is functioning and it's able to take in. And as I've already mentioned before, it's very difficult to do this kind of an implementation when you have something live going on. So it's up to the users to kind of exercise a little more patience on this. And ICAI has set up a separate Google link where you can escalate your issues. We've received about 100 responses on this Google link along with screenshots, which are very helpful for the team for doing the debugging, if any. But this webinar, so we'll start off with Run LLP. We'll have a demonstration of what it means to do Run LLP. We're not going into a live form because it's actually a pretty simple form. And if you have any questions on Philip, kindly put them in. And my other request is we're trying to schedule these webinars almost on a daily basis, taking up one form. So for example, if we have explained Run LLP today, if any of you have Run LLPs to do for those 3 circumstances of a new LLP or a change in name or a conversion, or a conversion of an LLP into a change of name of an LLP or conversion of a company, please try and do it today because it will be enormously useful to build in that user experience. So with these few words, request Rohit's team to kindly take over and run us through the process. Once again mentioning, if you have issues on Philip, which is the next form that we'll be taking up, you may actually put in your queries now, but we do observe that certain Philip forms are also getting filed, which means as a process it's running. So if there are any individual users who are having problems, the L&T team is very happy to help. And there's also a help desk number that's been widely, publicized and popularized. Request Sarika to put it on the chat here also, so you can continue. So Sarika would put on chat the Google link forms for anything that you need. So, and the second thing is the MCA help desk. So both these channels are well available. Thank you very, very much once again for your participation in this webinar. And it's over to Rohit.
Yeah, thank you, Sripriya Madam. Thanks for your nice support all the time. And good afternoon, everyone. See, as you all know, for any project, while we are moving for any sort of big upgradation, there will be some technical glitches. Likewise, here in MCA also, small issues we are facing. And as Sripriya Madam told, now we are getting the feedbacks from ICAI members, but it is very limited in numbers. I request you to sensitize your company secretary friends and cost accountant friends as well as to submit their inputs through this Google form, because I think ma'am has provided this form for all the institute fraternities. So basically we are receiving queries like pre-scrutiny issues, seeking guidance on new portal, DSC registration issue, and resubmission of earlier forms. For all these types of issues, I hope our LTI team will provide you proper guidance. I welcome Rohit Bhatt and Sakshi Sharma from LTI to enlighten you with all sort of clarifications. Over to Rohit and Sakshi. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you once again.
So thank you, sir. I just wanted to Thank you, Shri Priya and team, along with Shri Kumar sir. Good afternoon, everyone. There have been many of the sessions that have been so far been done. I just wanted to emphasize and little bit enlighten more on the processes that are being followed across. We have a dedicated, as Shri Priya was saying, was asking. We have enhanced our 24 cross our call center, which was earlier not the case. We have enhanced due to this go live. It is 24 cross 7. You can call our help desk and make sure your issues are getting addressed. That is the first thing. We also have made sure that our uh, uh, there's a web link probably or Google link form that Shri Priya and team has shared it across. You can just put in your feedbacks there, and we will come back with the resolution on that. So trust me, as of now, we have gone to each one of users. So it is not a one-sided feedback we are taking. We are making sure that we are calling you back to make sure that we uh, are closing your feedbacks. We are making sure that your any of the defects that has been identified by you, we need to make sure that we are giving it or resolution to those. We also are doing a common categorization of issues and make sure that from technical aspects those are getting resolved, so you don't need to call if your issues are getting resolved. So what we had done yesterday, based on Shri Priya ji's feedback as well, we had opened a 1.5 hour session yesterday just for Philip issues. So if anybody has any Philip issues while filing, we opened that yesterday. But the only thing I would request everyone is, let's have a genuine people joining those sessions, genuinely who is filing the Philip forms. Awareness issues, we can make sure that those are being done and those are being communicated across. But I would request that those sessions are only for the genuinely filing the Philip forms. Yesterday it was very difficult that none of the people who are joined are genuinely filing the Philip forms. So although we had managed to file the Philip forms yesterday and day before as well, so things are moving to the right direction. Actually, was saying also we had more than 1400 now runs being filed, and also we are taking care also the migration of the V2 data or the earlier data into V3. So with this, we are just dividing this session into three equal sessions. One is that we'll go through run first. We'll go form by form into the section by section into this. That's one thing. Second is we'll also focus on the login and registration and DSC association. There were some issues for a DSC association. I don't think none of the DSC association will be a problem as of now. But if there are any, we are making sure that those are getting addressed. So that is second. Third, there are some Philip issues being raised from the respective users. What we have done is we wanted to go through few of the questions and making sure those are getting addressed. And we are also opening a channel for chat channel, so you can just put in your numbers here in the chat. We will go back and call you back and make sure that your issues are getting resolved on the Philip form. So with this, I'm just sharing my screen. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would like to take this up from now. So since we are talking about Run LLP, let us start from the basic details itself. So Run is a reserve unique name application, which is available in the form of web service. It is already there in the form of web service for companies. So those who have filed in companies module, they would be well aware of how this functionality works. And similar sort of functionality is there with additional features in LLP now. So run is to reserve the unique name of any proposed LLP, and the user can go to the MCA portal and put the cursor on MCA services, and there they can find LLP related e-filing services, LLP form service, and there the first form is run LLP. And as soon as they click on that, they are required to log in. And if they already have a login ID, they can log in and file run form for any in any name or which is available, or for any proposed entity they can file, or for existing entity also. And the other one who do not have registration, they can create their registered their user ID, both registered as well as business user. There are two types of category of users that we have. We'll take this up later on. So registered user can also file this particular form, and business users who are associated with any company or LLP, or who are professionals, so they both can file this particular form. So there is no restriction on any particular user for filing this particular form. Now, Run LLP, what does it do? It helps verify whether the name chosen for any particular particular LLP is available or not, and is unique in nature or not. It is not taken by any other entity which is already there in MCA database. The name should not be identical to or similar to an existing company or trademark. So earlier, when the users were required to check the trademark, they had to go to the trademark website and cross-check the details. But now this facility is available on MCA portal itself. As soon as a name is, the proposed name is put in the proposed name option, and auto check facilities clicked, the user will be able to see the different type of errors and alerts, and also the trademark, the related trademark which are already registered in that particular name, if any. So the user can make an informed decision if he wants to go ahead with that particular name or not. So this is already what are the user
I'm not able to hear unless it's my problem.
I think there is some network issue. I'm also not able to hear.
Yeah, okay. So I think
Yeah, you can continue.
okay. So the objective of the run form is to register a unique name of LLP, convert a firm into LLP, convert a private company, unlisted company into an LLP, and change the name of the existing company. So once you open the run form, you will see these 4 options on the top, and you need to see, or you need to select which particular category the form has to be filed.
So as Rohit mentioned, that Run LLP is required to be filed in case name is to be reserved for any sort of entity creation under MCA, LLP, or any LLP is required to be formed for that Run LLPs to be filed. If any change is there, if any conversion is there from partnership firm to LLP, or from company to LLP, then also Run is required to be filed, and the name is required to be reserved prior to the conversion. And then there is one more option wherein the existing LLP, wherein it wants to change its name to any other name, then also Run is required to be filed. So as we all are professionals here, I'm sure these basic details are not required to be taken up. Everyone is aware of Run LLP.
Yes, Sakshi. Yes, Sakshi.
Requirement, right?
The
So we can
substantive
go
law,
ahead.
you don't need to get it, but
Yeah,
you can reserve it for a period of up to 3 months. So you must
right.
remember.
Right. So when we go to mca.gov.in, there is a tab of MCA service. When we put our cursor there, we'll be able to see multiple services which are available there. So on LLP services, we'll get this reserve LLP name. And also at present, since the changes have been done, we'll find this in e-filing services. We'll go to e-filing services and we'll file all the forms have been categorized in that particular field itself. So Run LLP, since this is an old screenshot. So at present, under the category of e-filing, Run LLP services will be there. So as soon as we click on that, we'll be able to see our login page. If we are already registered, we need to put our user ID in the first field and our password in the second field. For existing user, so this will be for if you are already registered, you can click on login put your ID, password, and click on login. And if you're not registered, you can register from this portal itself. Click on register and put your details. You can, I hope I am audible, Shripriya.
Yes, you are, Sakshi.
Okay,
very clear,
great.
very
Okay,
clear.
great.
So if you can just point to the cursor, so there is a sign in, sign up.
Right.
So yeah, that's where they go to
So
sign in.
as they click on Run LLP, they'll be redirected to this particular page. They can put their login username here and password in the password field and log in from here. And also once we go to MCA portal, we get a sign in and sign up panel on the right hand corner. So we can click on here also, and then we can log in from here also. So the user has got both the options. This is already covered. So in the run form, we will get 4 different options. The users need to select whichever option is applicable to them. For new incorporation, they can select the radio button of new incorporation. If they are converting any partnership firm into an LLP, they can click on the radio button of conversion of firm into LLP. And if they are converting any private or unlisted public company into LLP, then they can click on the third radio button. And in case they want to change the name of existing LLP, the 4th option is available. So if you see on the right side corner, refer instruction kit for filing the form is given. At present, Hindi option is not there. However, refer instruction kit, once the user click on the refer instruction kit for filing the form, in the next tab, they'll be able to see the complete instruction kit. So earlier, the users were required to download the complete form and instruction kit, and that used to take a lot of space in users' system. Now that thing is already removed. Once you click on any instruction kit on any form, in the next tab, the user will be able to see the complete instruction kit. So in each form, we have given this kind of facility to all the users. This is the complete form. Since the user has clicked on new incorporation, new request, the user can see on the heading. And if it will be a resubmission request, resubmission will be given. So if any second chance is given to the user by the back office user, then here, instead of new request, the user will be able to see resubmission request. This is form language. As I already mentioned that at present only English language is available. So it is auto selected. English is auto selected, and the user will not be able to select Hindi option. In the second field, you can see that at present it is disabled, SIN and LLPIN. This is disabled because we are talking about new incorporation right now. The radio button which is selected is new incorporation. Had we selected conversion of private company or unlisted public company into LLP, then SIN option, that is 2A, would have been enabled. And had we selected change of name of existing LLP, our 2B part, which is LLPIN field, would have been enabled. So in the new forms, you'll see the functionality. As soon as you select any particular option, various fields would be enabled or disabled, or you'll be able to see them, or they'll be kept hidden. So this is also one of the facilities that we are giving in web forms in V3 portal. At present, this is disabled because this is new incorporation. And for professional users, we are giving additional facility, that is search option for SIN and LLPIN. So in case you click on that search option, you will be able to see all the companies. And if you put any alphabet, 2 or 3 alphabets, the related names of the LLPs or companies will appear on the screen, and the user can select from out of those names for whichever entity it wants to file, he or she wants to file the form. They can select accordingly. So that facility is also available. The user need not put complete SIN or LLPIN, and that will also save their time here. Now we are following NIC code 2008. Earlier MCA used to follow NIC code 2004. We have shifted now to NIC code 2008, and in run form, NIC code selection is mandatory. So the third option is search and select industry subclass, that is NIC code. Once we click on search icon, you'll be able to see multiple NIC codes on your screen, and the user can either put the code complete code and will be able to see that the description of that particular code on the screen, or the user can put the description of the category of the industry, and then related NIC codes will be available on the screen. At one go, the user can select 3 different NIC codes, out of which 1 will be main and 2 will be subclass codes.
So one of the thing, although I'm using Sakshi's now desktop to speak about it, one of the thing I think most of the people have concerns that if I have selected NIC code, let's say example 2004 before the go live, and in Philip, because the same NIC codes will be reflected there because that will be used there. Since we have moved to 2008 now, what we have done is we have made it as editable as of now, so that you can go and change it as per your company, registered. So those can be editable as of now to make sure that there is no impact from the NIC code. It does not stop any of the users to do further filing on Philip. So that facility has been done.
Just to add, the NIC code is nothing but the National Industry Classification Code that you follow, 120.10, etc.
Yes. So Shripriya, what happened is we have changed it from 2004 to 2008.
Correct.
So let's say example 8.
So let's just explain to them. 2004 was an earlier version of the code list, and 2008 was a different version of the code list.
Yes.
So that's
let's say example
not to
before.
worry.
Yeah, not to worry. Even if that is causing, what we have done is we have made it editable in Philip, so they can go there and edit their code there as per the new 2008 perspective, and they can move ahead with the filing. There's no issue or no impact on the filing perspective from the NIC code perspective.
I have only one question, Rohit. Is my NIC code a compulsory field?
Yes, it is.
Yes, that's a compulsory field.
Yeah, in which case my only request is please asterisk it, because it's not asterisked as of now.
So this is basically okay.
That's fine.
We'll
Just an
take a
input,
note
that's
of
about
it. Right.
Yeah. I noted. Yeah.
So NIC code is basically a mandatory field, and the users, whatever the users are selecting NIC code here, this will be pre-filled in their Philip form as well. So users get, as like before, users are getting 2 options for proposed name here: proposed name 1 and proposed name 2. Proposed name 1 is mandatory, second name is optional. The user can give it or not give it. That is up to him completely. Attachment section is not mandatory, so the user can select up to 5 attachment here and put up to maximum 10 MBs of attachment. We understand that sometimes NOCs are required to be attached, or any central government approval or anything is required to be attached. The users can attach here. Earlier, there was a limit of overall 6 MB for the complete form, including DSCs and everything. Now in V3, we have made it for the form, complete form including DSCs and all the attachments, it is maximum 10 MB. And for individual attachments in all the forms, it is maximum 2 MB for all the attachments, individual attachments in all the forms. And earlier only PDF were required, and now PDF and JPG both can be filed along with the form. Since this is a web form and there is no PDF requirement, PDF and signature requirement, so overall the attachment limit that has been given with this particular form is maximum 10 MB, which is in sync with other forms too. So at last, if we can see, auto check of the form option is available, which is again mandatory to be clicked once the proposed name is filled. As soon as we click on auto check, we will be able to see multiple alerts on the screen of the user.
Yeah, Sakshi, we lost you. If I may continue, what happens when you do an auto check? Rohit, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes.
Sakshi, okay. Yeah, Sakshi, there was a small lull. So yeah, go ahead. So when you auto check, it throws 2 types of prompts for you.
Right.
One is called as an info and the other is called as an error. And Sakshi, you can go ahead.
Right. So one will be information, which is basically, for example, similarity alerts are there, or any alerts are there which by which the user can still go ahead but make an informed decision if he wants to attach any related attachments, or if he wants to go ahead with that particular name or not. Now there are certain errors. For example, if any prohibited word is used, or any exact same name is available already available in the master database of MCA. So in that case, system will throw error and the user will not be able to move ahead only. So these two categorization has been done in terms of alerts. In similarity alerts, the user in information alert, the user will be able to move ahead and file the form. In error uh, in error alert, the user will not be able to move ahead at all.
So I'll give you a small example. So for example, if the name of your company contains a particular word, let's say national, it might throw an info for you. Your national could be featuring somewhere at the end of your LLP's name. It'll just throw up an info, but it won't block you. But if your name is similar to an existing LLP or to an existing trademark, there will be a very nice tab which will show you which is the trademark that your name is similar to. And when you go to the submit button, you will find a crossbar there. It will not allow you to submit. Yeah, go ahead.
So here on my screen, if you can see, I am receiving two types of information only here. There are no errors, it's only information. So in this kind of information, the user will be allowed to move ahead to file the form. This is the name similarity alert. In the second tab, I'll be able to find whatever the similar names are available in the master database of the of MCA. Had errors been put here instead of information, the form would not the user would not have been able to file the form at all. In terms of errors, the user will not be allowed to move ahead, and in terms of information, the user will be allowed to move ahead with the form.
And what's very nice is if you're facing a rejection, it also tells you why you're facing a rejection.
Right.
So that's your name similarity or a trademark similarity, which gives it to you. So you don't really have rework at all.
Right. In trademark similarity alerts, the user need not go to trademark authority's website and check the similarity, or go to different classes and check if the name is already registered or not. In this trademark similarity alert only, the user will be able to see what all trademarks are registered and in which all classes it is registered in various categories.
Sure. And
so here, if you can see on my screen, when I selected conversion of private company or unlisted company into LLP, my SIN option is enabled. My LLPIN option is still disabled because LLPIN is not required in this case. So SIN option is already enabled. And here for professional login, I can see that search option is given to me. When I click on the search icon, I will be able to see multiple companies in the MCA database. And as soon as I put 2 or 3 alphabets, my related names will appear. And I can select from them only whatever the SIN I want to select. So that effort of putting the SIN here is already reduced. When I select change in name of existing LLP, then in that case, my LLPIN field is enabled and my SIN field is disabled. So the users clearly know which all information is required to be put, and they can quickly fill the form and go ahead. This is the NIC code description. I can put the NIC code here, or I can put, like I've put grow here. I want to select any particular name which is related with grow. So all the similar NIC codes available, I can see in my search list. When I'll put complete description, I'll be able to get that exact code as well, then and there only, and I can select from there. I will select the checkbox and I'll click on add, and those options will be added to my NIC code list. We get the option to save the data also. So as soon as we click on save our data, and this we get, this the user gets on each and every page of one form, all the forms. So since this particular form is only of one page, so we get the option here, and as soon as we click on save, the user, whenever he or she wants to access, they can access from their application history, and they'll be, when they click on edit, they'll be able to fetch the data which they saved earlier, and they can go ahead and file the form or fill further information or change the information and then file the form. So this again is an additional facility to all the users. This is the application history. In the application history, the user will be able to see any draft form which they have saved but not filed yet. They will be able to see if any transactions that they have done, made the payment, yet to be yet to make the payment, or any form which is already filled, however DSC is pending to be affixed. So all those information and the status of the form can be seen through this application history. This is especially for the LLPs and companies, when they have to file multiple forms, and also for the professionals who file multiple forms for various clients, and which includes all the companies and LLPs and individuals as well.
Sakshi, if I may just add here, yeah, you just tell them that they have to glide to the right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you'll you get a an option to move ahead towards right side, where you'll see the action button, and if the form is there in draft form and you have saved the information, you get the option to click on edit, and as soon as you click on edit, all the information which you saved earlier you'll be able to see in the form, and then you can move ahead with the further action. Once your form is complete and you click on submit, you get the download of those forms in the form of PDF for DSC DSC upload. In that case, if this is where your form is done, where you had already downloaded the PDF, however the DSC affixation is yet to be done. In that case, you get the option to edit the form also, download the PDF again, and then you can directly go to upload the form as well. You need not download and affix the PDF. Once it is already downloaded, you can directly affix the DSCs and upload from here. So this is these are the additional facilities the users get in the application history. These are some of the examples of name similarity alerts in run form. If any similar name is available, the user can see from the alerts itself. In case of name similarity alerts, the user gets the option to submit the form. So this is just to make an informed decision that these are the kind of name which are already available, and still if the user sees that he or she can file the form, they can click on submit and select submit here and click on continue, and they'll be redirected to the payment page. This is how the summary of payment will look like. They get to know from this page what exactly the payment is. If any additional fee is required to be submitted, that fee will also be added here. They click on make payment. They get the option of online and offline. In online, multiple options have now been added. Around 8 options have now been added, and you'll be redirected to NTRP portal. Now we have MCA has now integrated with Bharat Kosh and NTRP, so you'll be redirected to NTRP portal. User will get a summary of all the details here, whosoever is making the payment. So the user ID details, you'll be able to, if any professional is making any payment on behalf of any company, they'll be able to see their details here, complete details. The complete details of the payment will also again be shown here. And as soon as you click on confirm, the user will be redirected to this particular page where they'll get multiple options to select. These are basically the various bank charges. If you want to know what the bank charges are, user can click here and they'll get to know, and they can again make an informed decision from whichever method they want to go, they want to make the payment. As soon as we add the captcha code here,
Sakshi is actually selected Visa here.
Yes, we have selected Visa, and the charges I can see here is 2 rupees. So
I can select other options also, and I can see what are the charges that I'll have to pay in the other options, and then I can select accordingly and go ahead. I need to check on this checkbox and click on pay. I'll be redirected to this particular page, and then I'll be required to give my credit card or debit card details or net banking details as whichever method I selected. I'll put my details, and then I'll be redirected to the payment status. This message I will get as soon as I complete my payment. Here, there is one catch that we need to make sure that our pop-ups are enabled. In case our pop-ups are not enabled, we'll not be able to get our challan generated. So if our pop-ups are enabled, in the second screen, we'll be able to see our challan gets generated. This is the challan, where the complete details of the entity. In case of run, this particular detail, in case of new incorporation, will not be there. The person who has made the payment, the details will come here. The entity on behalf of whom the payment is being made will the details of that entity will come here. And here you will be able to see the description of complete payment. Once you download it, user also gets the option to download the challan from this particular option. As soon as the user clicks here, they'll be able to get the download of the challan in this form on their system. So these are the multiple features that that are now added in V3 system, and a gist of how the run form is filed in total.
So Shripriya,
Yeah,
can we
into-
take few questions on this and then we'll move to login then, or either way around? I'm fine to take it later as well.
I don't think there are questions on run at all.
Okay.
Rohit, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, maybe there's just one
Actually,
question, Rohit. There's one question. Run LLP, if it's already filed and completed in an old form, is it possible to file the Philip in the new form?
Yes. So what we have done is we have migrated all the data from V2, which is the earlier version, to new version, and the data sync is happening perfectly fine. We have filed few forms like that. So if there are any issues, I would request, and I will again and again request, please call our help desk. We'll address your issues. That's a 24 cross line, and even put a Google form that ICI has been floated across. Put your issues there. We'll make sure that your issues are getting addressed, if any.
Rohit, a few more questions that we had received earlier on our Google link. One was there were past legacy issues. I'm sure maybe they have corrected now, where although there was no similar name, it was reflecting as an identical name. Is that issue resolved?
Yes, so that is resolved. What we have done is we have updated our databases and make sure that it is reflecting the correct names. Shri Kumar sir, you are saying something. Sorry, I just interrupted in between.
Yeah, Rohit, actually, I want to check about the payment status. Even just now also I received a couple of queries with regard to making payment. I hope that issue has been resolved with NTRP, isn't it?
Yes, sir. The issue with NTRP has been resolved. So this is from the bank perspective. I would request, I had a detailed discussion with the NTRP in the morning, and they have emphasized to use more and more SBI1, although there are 8 of them. The accuracy in the SBI gateway is really high. So I would request if you can use SBI gateway while doing transition to ignore most of the transaction failures. They are introducing 3 more gateways as well in coming days to make sure that it is getting enhanced more and more to have the more accuracy. But use SBI gateway as much as you can, because there is the accuracy is more than 99% there.
Good. And Mrs. Sripriya was asking about the legacy transformation of data from V2 to V3. That has been fixed, isn't it?
Yes, sir. That has been fixed. And we had made sure that if you have any SR number, so please raise your request with the SR number. We will reach out to the users and make sure that the SR number is being migrated, although all the data has been migrated. If there are still some issues, please help me around with the SR number. We'll get back to you and make sure your issue is getting resolved.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I want to clarify here, madam, you are talking about that earlier run name approval obtained through run in V2 database. So we have extended all those approvals, that name reservation for another 13 days from 8th of March. So they will have time to file the Philip forms, ma'am. This is for information of our stakeholders.
Okay. And there were a few cases where we had earlier, now currently my new, even I'm converting a company to LLP, the LLP name has to be similar to a company, the earlier company's name, right? So it's XYZ Limited will now become XYZ LLP. This Rohit, this will not throw an error alert, right? It will not regard it as a similarity.
No.
Okay, so that is taken care.
Yes, ma'am, that is taken care of. And in case if the user is putting any other name, then the system will definitely throw an error. In case the same name is getting filled, in that case, system will not throw any error.
Sure. I think then that's about it. So if anybody has any specific issues on Run LLP, there were some small bugs like these payments not going through, etc., which was all 5 days back. But since about 1,400 forms have been filed, unless there are some specific issues in your computer, like clearing the cache or these pop-ups getting blocked, it doesn't seem to be a problem. So with this, we can go to Philip, if possible.
So I just wanted to go back, Shripriya, to DSC and log in a bit, give a brief, because I have a manual in front of me, what has changed from the login perspective. I think we have covered most of the discussion on this, but just wanted to focus on a table where I just wanted to put more emphasis on what has changed from V2 to V3. And so what has happened? Can you see my screen? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So for user registration and login, users has been classified as registered and business users. If you open up your new thing, so those have been categorized into business and registered users. So who are business users? Business users have been further categorized into company LLP, director designated partner, manager, secretary, authorized representative officer, and default, and professional users. Individuals has been put under the registered user. So once you go to the registered option, you choose the registered option too, you will see only one drop down there, which is individual. However, in the business, you will see these many drop downs. You'll just drop down and make sure that you will be registered as per that.
And to add to this, PAN is not mandatory to be given in registered users case. I could see many queries on this respect, how to create user registration for foreigner who doesn't have a PAN. So they can create their registered user ID without using PAN. PAN is not mandatory for that.
So you are saying that you should not call yourself a business user, but you can come in as a registered user.
If you are holding a DIN, if you are associated with any company as authorized representative, if you're a professional, or in any case, if you're associated with any company or LLP, you can definitely register yourself as business user. In case if you want to avail certain facilities like filing run form, Philip form, or to check any other facility which are normal, which general public can avail from MCA portal, they can do that through registered user ID. For filing the forms of LLP, for example, Form 3, Form 4, and other related forms, for that, business user registration is required.
Yeah. Moving to next, login and account verification. The first level of authentication will be through email ID and password and a captcha for all the users except the company users. For company users, SIN, password, and captcha would be required. Second level of authentication will be done by through mobile or email based OTP verification. For login and account security, what we have done is we have made a mandatory 90 days refresh. So what will happen? It will throw you an email. You need to update your password in once you are approaching towards the 90 days. You need to make sure that if you are not activating within that 90 days, your password will be deactivated on its own. Then you need to make sure that it is being updated based on that. Associate DSC functionality has been retained similar to earlier V2 functionality. There's no change in that. We had made sure that the associate DSC is done. So I want to little bit focus more on the DSC part of it. I think Shripriya, we have also received many questions on DSCs. So on DSC, the ones who have been registered in V2 as DSC, register their DSC in V2, they need not to put or register. They have to mandatory register themselves in V3. That's first. Second is we are also making sync every 2-hour job between V2 and V3. So till 12 o'clock in the morning, we have sync between V2 and V3 users. Okay. As of now, there's no need to say that, okay, I have a DSC in V3. I want to go now to have separately in V2 or either vice versa. So there's a backend job that works that will make the sync between the two and will make sure that DSCs are being synced. So we received many questions on that.
Rohit, I have one query here.
So, yeah.
Rohit ji?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
See, actually, now tomorrow, March 15th is the last date for filing this AOC 4. Okay. So, whether the user has to log in and upload the form through the V2 DSC or V3 DSC, that you have to clarify.
Sir, there are two things. One is whosoever has already associated their DSCs in V2, they remain as is. There's no change. First thing. We are getting calls whose DSC has been deactivated or there has a broken token that has happened in V2. Wherever their DSC has expired, we are getting calls from that because as of now, the DSC in V2 has been taken off. It has moved to V3. For those only users, we have made sure that the syncing of the DSC is happening. As of now, in V2, who is doing company filing, there is no impact, sir. That is very much clear, and they are able to file it.
That's what
and the numbers show that
around 8,000 forms filed so far today itself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So there are a high number of forms being filed. There is no impact on V2. I don't want to put a data over here, but from the company perspective, there is no impact and is running perfectly fine. And we have 8,000 odd filings being done in a single day as of now. Yesterday. So if you see from last couple of days, we have more than 30,000 plus filings being done from the company perspective. So there's no impact on the company perspective with this GSC, sir.
And so just to elaborate, I can, for the benefit of the users, describe it in two situations. It is an existing company that you have already filed in V2 last year. Neither has the professional changed. It's the same company secretary or chartered accountant, and neither has a director changed. Continue your filing in V2, no issues. But if there is a change or you have to reassociate your DSC or you've got a new DSC, then that has to happen through V3. So whatever is there in V3 will automatically get populated into V2.
You're right. So Shripriya, what is happening? The job is running between these two versions, after every hour or 2 hours. So once you associate your DSC, please just wait for some time once our backend jobs works and you are also being associated under the new version of V2 as well. So there's no impact from that perspective as if there are new directors who are filing it and who are registering with us and then they wanted to form the company file. So any of the forms in company, so that all things we are taking care of and making sure that is being smooth and there's no impact on the users.
So I had one question. If I update in V3, how long does it take to hit V2? Is it seamless?
It is a hour time. We have retained our jobs within an hour. It will go to V2.
This is one of the reasons why people have a challenge because they say, oh, we've registered there, but I'm not able to file a company form. So please give it that 1 hour time.
Yes. So Shripriya, I will just put it again, emphasize again. People who are already associated their DSCs earlier in V2 portal, they don't need to associate again as of now.
Understood.
For them, it will work smoothly in V2 as of now.
Exactly. I had only mentioned where it was somebody who has to file a company form in V2 who has to associate his DSC in V3 because now the DSC association is happening only in V3.
Right.
It's an hour's time. So if you do it at 10:15, You may not be able to file a company form at 10:20. Please wait. By 11:30, you will be able to file your company form in V2.
That's right. And it will be seamless going forward. The reason why we are doing is there is still some stabilization steps to do. Give us a time, as we mentioned, by end of this month probably you will see lot many stabilization steps. So we are still in that stage where we are still trying to stabilize the processes, stabilize the issues. I would request this will be a smooth process. Give us some time. We'll make sure not even this 1 hour time is being taken to sync between the two.
Sure, that was very clear. So that's when we get these Google form complaints saying associate DSC is not working. It's actually working, but it's taking 1 hour's time to sync it.
Just a number of perspective, okay? There are 8,000 or 9,000, sorry, today, if I count today as well, 9,000 plus DSCs has been associated as of now. So there is no problem with the DSC associations in the current version which we have released. Whosoever is facing problem, the syncing will happen on its own. There's no problem. You can go to V2. So those are the numbers that we have as of now on the DSC association. So I'll just move to the application history. This is if you see in the new portal, application history is for past filings or drafts which are visible in the earlier. Those all dashboards you can see over there. Similarly, expiring of SRNs, this will be also under application history only. You'll get to know the status of this. Assessing the form, there are two ways to do it, either from via MCA services. Alternately, you can search as well in the search history. Filing a form, I think we showed this how to file a form, one of the form. Well, we'll make sure that the rest of the forms are also getting filed. SRN generation, FX DSC, upload PDF, payments, dashboard. I think we showed you this in one of the form filing. So all those things you will be facing or you will be going through once you form any of the forms. So with this, I have completed to the end of this part of it. I'll just quickly move to the Philip forms if there are any questions.
Just 1 minute, Rohit. Just wanted to sensitize users. When we called back many people, they said, oh, they're just trying to test it with their office staff, etc. Please remember, whatever you test and which you have submitted and not paid will actually be sitting in your application history. So please try to avoid this training in a live environment because it'll be your whole dashboard will get filled up. So it could be a challenge. Kindly take care.
Yeah, sure. Do you want me to run through a DSC process as of now? Although we have done it again, do you want me to run through it again now?
In which case, we'll have to move the Philip questions to later. So I'll leave it to you, Rohit. I mean, if you think it's important, it's entirely reflective of the number of queries you're getting on DSC. If you want it, then we can do it.
Yeah, I think DSC is something we have been receiving frequent calls. I think we have debated and discussed about it a bit. I think let's move to the Philip then, if that is fine, because we have debated enough on DSCs and give you the detailed how it works. It's a very 3-step process. You can go to associate DSC. It is very smooth process. I'll just quickly show you the screen, if that is fine. So simple, there's a 3-step process. Go to MCA services. There's associate DSC service. You can there's a download install here option. You need to
Just
download the latest versions.
to add to what Rohit is saying, EM Bridge, which is there in the second option, EM Bridge is requisite for associating the DSC. So before you go ahead and associate your DSC, make sure that EM Bridge is installed in the system and it is running in the background. And also for the first time user, we need to change the PIN of the DSC. So as soon as if this is for the first time that you're associating your DSC on V3, you need to change the PIN first and then go ahead with association. So it will be a seamless process for sure.
Yeah, I think I am done with this part as well. Do we have some Philip questions? We can take
yes,
one or
yes,
two.
I do, Rohit. But I'm just going to call out the questions. In any case, it says DSC registration is not visible for roll check. So whoever has put this, can you please put your phone number also on the chat, and I request Sarika to direct, because it seems to be a one-off issue. Unless you followed these steps for registration and it's not happened, but they'll be very happy to get in touch with you to understand this issue, to solve it, because it seems to be a specific issue. There's another query that says we are facing technical issue in registering DSC on MCA site. Again, the person who's put this, please put it along with your phone number so that we can they can call you individually.
I want to, Shripriya, I just wanted to put it here. If you are registering anything on V2 portal as a DSC association, it will give you an error.
Correct, because you can no longer do it in V2.
Yes, the page will give you an error.
Yeah, the entire process of DSC has moved to V3 now. And the data gets pulled in from V3 into V2. So, correct, Rohit?
Yes.
So in future, new users would have to go only to V3, but you'll automatically find your place in V2.
Yes.
Right.
We are applying for a new company registration, but we are not able to complete the roll check for promoters. Would you like to try this after this webinar once again and then come back?
And for Philip, as Rohit mentioned, that we are already available. So if they want, they can directly get in touch with us, and we'll try filing that live.
So can you give us your chat room link so that if anybody has an issue, they can come into that?
What we can do, Shripriya, just we can take again number of this particular user. Trust me, we'll give you a call back after 30 minutes. That is the ETA for us.
So I'm only trying to pick up issues which are generic, so I'm not able to file anything. There's a query on form filing process and form fill procedure. That is the next webinar. So how to submit a form which was a resubmission in the older version?
That's if something... it's a resubmission, if you go to the application history of yours, go towards, if you just put your cursor towards right, there are some buttons there. You need to see that which particular SRN was that, and you can edit that particular form, put in the details as required for the resubmission, what was the reason, put your comments, put your documents there and submit it again, and that's it.
So effectively, all your documents have migrated to version 3 insofar as it's LLP, and you'll be able to find it in the My application.
Yes.
So it's like your whatever you did there has already come here. So that's about it.
It's kind of a tracker or dashboard.
Correct. And
all your activities.
This is really helpful because when I'm moving into V3, I already know what work I've done in V2 for my LLP, and so the pending is clearly available.
I again emphasize, I'm sorry putting it again and again, our call center helpline are 24/7. If you are busy during the day with rest of your other customers, please, you can call us later as well to make sure that your issues are getting addressed.
Sure. There's one particular querist. It's the same problem. He says reservation of name is already done before site updation, but now that approved SRN is not fetched by MCA. Request you to put your name along with the phone number in the chat along with this particular query. They'll be very happy to reach out to you in half an hour. I had a very similar issue, and then I found that I was actually searching for the wrong SRN. So you may also once again just check your SRN just to be sure. I'm sure you've got it right, but it was an issue with me because I had so many, and I was also doing some testing, and I had quite a few SRNs there. I had filed the run application on 9/3/2022, and it's still showing under processing. So maybe this is for Mr. Sri Kumar. So users have submitted forms, and
yeah, madam, we agree with this, and already our CRC officers started processing all run applications, and it will be fetched on priority one by one. They are in the process of processing and approving it. It will be done at the earliest.
Ma'am, because there is a change in system for BO officers as well. So they are already started taking the SRNs up one by one.
There's a password resetting issue, which was again, which seems to be a unique issue with one user, which was Mr. Parth Jawahar, who's there on this webinar today. So he's already been guided to Mr. Rohit, and I think it's taking it forward. So I'm not taking it here.
I asked our team to call him. I hope he has got it. If not, I'll just check and give you a call, Parji, in another 15 minutes from now.
Ma'am, you can also share the SRN of that run LLP, which is pending for approval. That
Exactly.
we'll look into it. Yeah.
Sure. And as we are registering a DSC of the director, it's showing the director is disqualified. But when you do a DIN status inquiry, it's approved. So this seems to be a very unique issue. Again, kindly put in your name, your phone number, the particular DIN that you're talking about.
Madam, this will happen because of non-filing of DAR3 KYC. Once if they file the DAR3 KYC, then this issue will be resolved.
Oh, okay, fine. So that answers. So can more than one DSCs be registered for different users from one login ID, or separate login IDs have to be created for registration of each DSC?
Oh, I understood the question. For a single DAC, only single login is to be now. That's a process, new process, and we all have to align with that. We cannot have multiple DSCs with a single login. So that's clear. So that's a mandate now.
And I'm sure there is an integrity perspective to this. This is the way it ought to be, actually.
Yeah. So trust me, when we are migrating this data from now V2 to V3, we see a lot of these issues are coming up. People have put many DSCs against a single username. So this is one of the reasons, Sri Priya, our DSC syncing is taking 1 hour time, because we have to thoroughly review it and then push it to V2 is something that we are looking for. But for end user, there won't be any issue. It will be as smooth as it can be.
Sure. There's a user who says the run LLP has been filed in the old form. Will it be possible to do Philip in the new form? See whether even, yeah, you may want to answer.
You are right. Yes, I was mentioning only the NIC code part. He may have put it in 2004. However, once he moved to new, it will be NIC code 2008, but it is editable. There's no issue. It will be a smooth for him.
And if I'm not mistaken, the Philip starts with the SRN number, right?
Of run.
Yeah.
Yes.
So once you have an SRN number, it just calls it automatically and works. But you can come back to us if you have any problem. There is, of course, a very generic thing that says had a problem with reference to login in MCA website. I think Rohit was very clear. V3, V2. So you just need to figure out where you are and just move in that direction. There is a bit of a challenge on some Philip form getting stuck, Rohit. It gets stuck after filing up all the details and attachments on screen, and where it says proceed to form 9. The user says the screen is stuck. So it'll be very good if you can share your number and have them call you.
And Shripriya, we were actually looking for these users yesterday. We are looking for these users again and again. I am myself dialing from my phones to these users to find such people. Please drop in your number in the chat. My team will call you back in order to make sure that your issue is getting resolved.
Kindly request somebody whose form 9 is getting stuck. So,
ma'am, I've sent the numbers to L&T. We have got the numbers and email ID.
Great.
The particular queries which we have asked to call, we have already sent it to Mr. Rohit.
So there's a very interesting question. He says if a pop-up is not enabled, how to obtain the challan later on?
See, challan is not a problem from the system perspective. There are 2 ways to do it, online, offline. For us, it is getting synced from the backend. I would request to keep this as of now. So in the new process, you have 2 ways to obtain the challan, by the way. You can directly go to the NTRP site, simply put in your account number. It will take you to the challan and the transaction history. Within the transaction, there's a challan also, payment confirmation also to be there. So there are 2 ways to do it. And in the application history, it should come. The problem is if you don't put on your pop-up, the problem, it takes a little bit of time to sync from the external site to us. So that may take time. But for the immediate, if you want to immediately check whether you have done the payment or not, you just go to the Bharat Kosh website, log in there. It will give you the transaction history. From there, you can download the challan, and that's it. So you will have a 2-way confirmation on the payment.
Sure. So another part that Sakshi, maybe you can tell them, is the moment you've submitted a form, you will get a mail alert and an SMS alert, right, Sakshi?
Yes, ma'am. So basically, many alerts have been added now in V3. So through SMS and through emails, the user, as soon as a form is submitted, and also when the PDF is downloaded, however, the user is not making any action afterwards. So then also the user will receive alerts that the action is pending to be done on that particular SRN. And once the payment is completed, then also user receives. And of course, at the time of approval or in case rejection is there, then also alerts are sent to the users via messages and through emails, both.
Sure. So these are the 1 moment. These are some of the how to attach the LLP agreement. Sakshi, it's an attachment. You just have to double click and attach, but you might want to specify something on the size restrictions.
So if we talk about form 3, if you will go to the attachment section, there is one particular tab, blue color tab, wherein you can click and browse from your computer. You can select the attachment like you normally do for other attachment sections in any other form or in earlier forms as well. So you can click the JPEG or the PDF file of the agreement, and you can upload it in the system. That is it. And at present, for the individual attachment, maximum 2 MB size is allowed. So an agreement of maximum 2 MB size can be attached in any form wherever it is required.
Sure. So this is slightly, this is maybe a question from Mr. Sri Kumar. So somebody wants to understand that if the run LLP if it gets submitted, does it automatically mean if there is no error, it will get approved?
So basically, in case of STP forms, so that is another process. But in case the forms are non-STP, which are already mentioned in the LLP's help kit, forms help kit, and everywhere, and the users are also aware which forms are STP and non-STP. In case the form is non-STP, it will definitely go to the BO user for their verification and for their approval.
Yeah, and BO here means back office, which is the MCA.
Back office, right, back office user.
My SRN is in resubmission. How can I resubmit?
If it is about the V2 user, you can create your through your V2 user ID, you can log into the V3 portal and upgrade yourself from registered user to business user from profile upgrade page, which is there on the right side corner of the screen. So as soon as you upgrade your profile, you'll be able to see your application history, and there you'll find an edit option of the form where whichever is parked into resubmission. You can click on the edit option, you can fetch the information which was filed earlier, where the requisite information will be there, and then you can go ahead and file through that particular SRN only.
Okay, so I want to put a point here, Shripriya, is the people who have login IDs in V2, they are not required to put their registration in V3 portal. Please don't do that, because you are already a user in V2. You just put in or sign in your V2 credentials into V3, it will perfectly work. Okay, there is an option of upgradation of the profile that you can do, but please don't do that. There are a lot many users who have a fresh registered into V3 portal, and there is a duplicacy. So that is to be ignored as of now. Please make sure there is none of those, because you are already a registered on MCA portal. Don't please create a fresh user ID in V3 portal as of now.
And to add to this, if you want to file any form, so forms are actually can be filed by the business user. So in V2, if you were registered as registered user, you can log in from your same user ID only. You'll be logged in, and then you can upgrade yourself to business user to file any LLP related forms. And after upgrading yourself, your email ID will become your username for V3. Whatever the email ID is there in your profile, that will become your username for V3 portal.
Sure. And I think this is the last question, but seems interesting. If somebody has wrongly registered himself as a registered user, and now he wants to
Profile
register,
upgrade.
yeah,
Profile upgrade.
Yeah, he wants to change his status to a business user. How does he do it?
So profile upgrade option is there. Once you log in, wherever your name appears on the right side corner, once you click on that, you will receive two options, either to log out or to update your profile. Once you click on profile update, you'll receive your complete list of the information that you had earlier given to MCA, and their user role is provided. So once you click on user role, you'll get the option to change it to business.
Yeah,
User.
that's a nice one actually. So it really doesn't matter. Maybe just some of these where I think we make obvious mistakes. It'll be nice if we can just put out a small chart.
Sakshi, you also please clarify our stakeholders how to do role changes. Suppose if a stakeholder, being a professional, they want to do associate DSC in the capacity of director or designated partner, how it happens? How they can switch over between the professional and the director or designated partner or vice versa?
Sure, sir.
That you clarify.
Sure, sir. Let me also share my screen for that. I'll share the screenshots. Just one second. Please let me know once my screen is visible.
Visible?
Yeah, it's visible, Sakshi.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So once you go to login page, you need to put your login ID and password and click on login. Once you log in, once you click on your name, you'll get two options, profile update or log out. So once you click on profile update, this particular page will open where your user category will be given. If you have registered as registered user, you'll get a drop down to select business user in case you want to change the user role. Once you click on business user, the user gets the various options wherein he or she can register as business user. So this drop down, out of these drop downs, the user can select anything. If he is holding DIN or DPIN, he can select director or designated partner. If he is associated with any company as manager, secretary, or authorized representative, he can select the second option. And if he wants to register himself as professional, if he has received his membership number from any of the three institutes, he can select professional as well. If the user is selecting user category as director or designated partner, he'll be required to put his DIN number. The user gets the option to select the token and affix his certificate here only, but the user can do it later on as well. That's not mandatory to put the DSC on this page or associate the DSC then and there only. He can do it later on as well. Income tax PAN is also mandatory. So as soon as the user puts all the details and click on save, he will be moved from registered user to business user in the user role of director or designated partner. Once the user wants to register himself as professional or upgrade himself as professional, he can select the user role as professional, enter the institute's name, which is ICSI, ICAI, and ICWAI, and put the PAN number and membership number. We need to make sure that we are putting the correct membership number here, and because this check is there, and income tax PAN also we are putting correctly. There should not be any incorrection or any vague data should not be put here. If we are selecting, as soon as we click on save, our profile gets updated to the from the registered user to the business user.
So it means depending on
I
your
hope,
work, one can switch profiles.
Right.
And this is another thing, possibly why you're also getting your errors sometimes. So you also have to be in the right profile.
Right, true. I will also quickly just show how the association of DSC is to be done, because we were receiving too many questions on that. So as soon as we log into our login ID, we go to FOLLP service and associate DSC. Once we click on that, we
get this particular window wherein all the instructions are given to the users. We need to make sure that EM bridge is downloaded in our system, which is very mandatory. Once you're using your token for the first time, we need to make sure that that the system is able to detect the token, and also we change our pin to the new pin. We need to click on associate DSC. We'll get this particular pop-up where we'll get different types of token which are available in our system. We need to click on the ePass token which is available on our system, and in the certificate details we'll receive our name, whosoever's DSC we have selected, and we need to put our new pin here and click on register. This is it. So as soon as we click on register, our DSC will get registered here. So I hope this clarifies.
So Shripriya, anything else? I think we are done with the session. I think we have this session on a rolling basis. We want to make sure that as much as users who are facing this issue or any type of issue, please reach out to us. What we can also do is, in the meantime, if you are also have any issues with any other forms, probably again, I would emphasize to please call us. Call us on the help desk number that is there for 24/7. Keep on logging your requests. We'll make sure that your issues are getting addressed.
So, thanks. Unless Mr. Srikumar wants to say something, we can conclude this webinar, sir.
I have seen one of the chat, ma'am, with regard to number of designated partner can come in during incorporation of LLP. So presently we are allowing up to 5 designated partners while filing Philip form itself.
Okay. So that answers this question.
Previously it was 2, now this will be made it to 5, yeah.
Okay, so that's the question, but otherwise I thought it was technical, so we would have responded independently. So otherwise we finished most of it, all of it. In fact, some of them were repeat questions in terms of, many people had this issue on DSC, and I hope it's resolved. So thank you very, very much, and progressively we'll be scheduling the next set of webinars. Maybe they would be between 11 and 1 in the morning. Some users have come back and requested for an earlier time. So we'll look at it and we'll come back to you, but would request my secretary of the CLCGC committee, Ms. Sarika Singhal, to propose a very short vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining with us. We have more than 2,000 people live with us. Thank you, Shri Kumar, sir, Joint Director, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, for joining on daily basis almost the calls and on the VCMs and resolving the queries. Thank you, Mr. Rohit, for taking on the queries positively and also ensuring the members to call them personally so that their queries are resolved. We have many queries. We'll be, like Shri Priya Madam is daily, not daily, in fact, all the times on this only, and she is supporting an implementation along with her team. I am in her team also. So thank you everyone on behalf of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and LTI, and also the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. We thank you all for being live with us for the entire 2 hours. Thank you so much.
A very special thanks to Sakshi Sharma, who I think did a very exemplary presentation today. Thank you very much, Sakshi.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It was very nice, and it was very basic, and it sort of clears one's mind, really. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sakshi ji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.